Ik, Do, Din, Jar, Punch. I'm me. I am Nabil Abdul Rashid, stand-up comic, mentor, father, husband. As a Muslim man, your role is to serve God, worship God, and also serve your community and your family, because you can't serve God without serving those two things. Sometimes life hurts. Don't sit down and cry about it. I'll tell her that, she's living life and her life is going to be like a video game set on hard, because it is harder to be a woman. But I'll also remind her that Allah does not place a difficulty in front of you that you cannot overcome, and that she never needs a man to validate her or make her feel strong. Logic motivates me to practice my faith, because I think if there is, logically, if I believe in a being that's created me and blessed me with all the things that I have, it only makes sense, because if I walked out and gave a homeless guy a £5 note, he'd say thank you. So Allah has given me more than I can even count, just by allowing me to exist. That alone makes Allah worthy of worship. Everything else is a bonus. Number one would be honesty. You have to be honest, not just to others, but with yourself. You shouldn't delude yourself. Number two would be to be stubborn, because if you quit if every single person that made a mistake or failed at something quit, we wouldn't have a lot of the greatest people that we have today, whether in sport or entertainment or art. The third thing I would say is that you have to listen. You have to be able to learn from your mistakes and take advice from people. Fourth is you should not trust everyone and take people at face value. And the fifth, obviously, is all power comes from God. So always understand that even when you are successful, it shouldn't get to your head, because whatever good you get, you only get because Allah willed it. Mental health issues, well, according to my mom and my wife, yes. Depression is something that, I'm sure we've all suffered in one way, shape or form at some point in our life. There are going to be times where you do have a mental illness for a brief period of time and don't even know it. And because of taboo, you can't discuss it. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the past I have suffered from depression, because we've all had our ups and downs. Well, if they're a person of faith, then obviously I always tell them that, belief in God and that tawakkul in Allah's provision, But at the same time, I would also say it's good to speak to someone, get help. Well, the scholars are the inheritors of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's legacy. Islam is something that's being attacked ideologically every single day, and not just from the outside, but from within as well. We've got a lot of Uncle Toms and house Negroes in our midst. Yeah, so with the rise of all these pasteurized, homogenized Muslims like Quilliam and whatnot, people are trying to redefine what Islam is and criminalize people who want to stay true to their beliefs. And for that, I think the only way we can combat these things is for those of us who know what we're doing, or at least have the right intention, to learn our religion and be able to defend it, because Islam doesn't need to be changed to defend its meaning. It's existed before us and will exist after us. Yeah, the racism aspect is quite complex, because most of the racism I faced has been within the Muslim community from so-called fellow Muslim brothers and sisters. And because obviously of the nature of my physicality and appearance, it's always microaggressions or indirect, so via online abuse and so on, or through racial stereotyping like you see on programs like Muslims Like Us and so on. I think Muslims need to get higher positions within media, get higher positions within the arts as well, and combat this thing on all levels as well as legally. And I think a key issue that causes this in the Muslim community is the lack of education and the complete whitewashing of aspects of our faith. So I think Muslims need to study with an open mind the religion of Islam, and actually further acquaint themselves with, what the racial makeup was of a lot of the Sahaba and friends of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. I also think with Islamophobia, Muslims being attacked, I think it's important that Muslims learn to defend themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. you know. So learn your religion and have faith in your heart. Strengthen yourself mentally and physically. Learn how to defend yourself too, because if you hope that the police are going to show up and help you, or if you hope that people like bystanders are going to help you when these things happen, you're living in La La Land. I looked at the historic examples that we have of Islam, and I found that whenever Islam has faced adversity, it's flourished. You know, when the Muslims were in Medina and they got attacked constantly and were placed under embargo by the pagan Meccans, Muslims still flourished. When the Crusaders tried to take Palestine, Islam still flourished. When the Mongols wiped out Muslims and drank wine from their skulls, they learned the Quran and Islam still flourished. 9/11, same thing. With all the Islamophobia in American media, Islam is still the fastest growing religion in the deep south of America. And then if you look at the people that Islam spreads with the quickest as well, it's the most impoverished and the most discriminated against. So the Afro-Caribbean people here in England and African Americans, where would Islam be without these people? So I use that as motivation for myself. So the more my faith is attacked, the stronger I am within it. The most important memory I have of my father is actually when I was meditating on not too long ago, and it's my father and I were in Egypt at an airport, and an Egyptian soldier just randomly walked up to my dad and snatched his passport out of his pocket, and my father went ballistic and took his passport back and said, "You didn't do that to anybody else here, you will not do that to me." And that sight of my father standing up for himself, you know, and not being scared of this armed Egyptian soldier that was at the airport, who had no business taking his passport, I think that probably sparked a lot of things for me in my mind and made me realize that, you know, I have rights and I should never let anyone ever try and take advantage of me or persecute me for whatever reason. And that's the most important memory I have of my father. No, I've never done that because I'm Nigerian. We just don't do that.
What do you do?
You're right, yeah. And that's it. There's no need for all this, "Oh, I love you, daddy." That's not our way. Nigerian out here. Well, not everyone is going to be an academic. We'll just have to find, you know, something that they're good at. Everyone is good at something, you know, except if you're from East London, in which case at least you can survive, right? But, you know, it's down to the child, it's down to their personality and what they do. But there's always something that people can do, and you just have to nurture it, that's all. She probably is. She was with you. By the time this is out, she probably will be. Not much. Sanu, that's basically all I would say.
What does that mean?
Wow, if I wanted you to know, I'd say it in English now, wouldn't I? Well, we've got the glorious Quran. This is not an actual Quran, it's a translation of the Quran. There's a difference. Slavery in Islam, that's a good book. If you're a black Muslim, then Malcolm X, because it's not like we have much choice, right? Obviously, any book on Sirah, I mean, we've got the sealed nectar here, but generally I would say any book on fiqh, Sirah, or whatever, you should learn the ins and outs of your religion. Don't just do stuff because you saw your dad do it or you saw your mom do it. It's very important to know Islam from an organic perspective, like read about it and understand why we do things. Let's keep it conceptual. I'm joking. With marriage, you have to understand that it's not going to be perfect, and you can't evaluate your relationship on ideals that don't actually exist, right? So you can't base your relationship on what you see the Kardashians doing or what you see on TV, because that's not real life. Real relationships are based on your imperfections. They're based on difficulties that you will face. And it's very important that you and your spouse are a unit that works together, not against each other, because there are a lot of things in this world that will be thrown against you. There are a lot of difficulties you're going to face. And if you guys can't come together as a unit, no matter how nice your Instagram pics are, no matter how cute her henna is, or whatever the hell it is you guys want to post to get likes, that stuff doesn't save your marriage. What saves your marriage is respect and just integrity and endurance, you know. And remember that if you get married young, it's good, but you're gonna go through phases and you're gonna become different people. So it's good to do that together, because when you plant plants, they can grow together if they're bound together tightly. If not, they go in different directions. What I live my life by is from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's basically that if you see something, if you see an injustice, then change it with your hands. If you cannot change it with your hands, then speak out against it. And if you cannot speak out against it, then feel the anger in your heart. But that is the smallest amount of faith, right? So that's why I live by. Wherever I can, if I can see something, I don't like it, change it with my hands. And if I can't do that, then I speak about it. If not, I'm very angry.
I want to have a marriage question in there.
Okay, of course. Typical Asian one. It has to be something about the rishta. So when do you want to get married? I'm already married. But when do you want to marry again?
Yeah.
You never told me what the kid and play's name is.
Zein.
Zein. Yeah, it would be Zein, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Why would it be Zein?
Why are you asking me? I'm not the one that named you. Shit.
Okay, start again, yeah, from the top. Excuse me to say this, but how you like your onions?
I hope you all catch cholera.